What's up everyone, and welcome to the channel. Whether this is your first time here or you've seen quite a few of my videos, I want to just say thank you for stopping by and checking out what I have to put out for you guys. If you have seen the videos before, you'll recognize this aircraft as the Kodiak 100 by Simworks Studios, and I am in my favorite Idaho Air Service colors. If you want to know more about this aircraft or any of the modifications I use in any of my videos, go ahead and scroll down to that description box. Click see more, and there should be a link for everything you want to know. Also, if you don't want to watch the whole thing and just click through, there are timestamps as well. But if you're familiar with the channel, you will know this aircraft. It is one of my favorite ones that is available in the game. I think the only thing that comes close to the Kodiak is the A2A Comanche. I love both of these aircraft. They're so much fun to fly, and I would definitely recommend buying them if they're your thing. Today's flight, we are actually not even in Idaho. We are in West Yellowstone, Montana, and we're actually going to be continuing into Montana by heading up into Billings. We did come from Idaho. We came from some bush strips out by Boise. We had a full load of passengers with a whole bunch of cargo. We were maxing out gross when we left, I think it was Pistol Creek Ranch. We were maxed out, almost maxed out on weight. We were definitely maxed out on passengers and cargo. Today's going to be a little different. We only have one passenger going with us today, and they're bringing 100 pounds of cargo. So as we finish up this walk around, everything's looking good. Weather-wise, should be cloudy and bumpy. Not expecting anything crazy like a thunderstorm or tornadoes or anything weird. Should be a fairly routine flight as we head up to Billings, Montana. So now that the walk around's complete, everything's looking good, I'm going to go ahead and hop in the terminal, grab our passenger and his cargo, and let's get this show on the road. Alright, so here we are inside of the Kodiak 100. So we're going to go ahead and run through our preliminary checks. Fuel shutoffs are on. No passenger up front, so we'll go ahead and just lock our seatbelt. Fuel cutoff is in. We got idle, feather, and cutoff over there. That's down at normal. And we got all of our circuit breakers plugged in as well. Let's just push this trim a little bit further forward. If you do want to know more about like the proper way, I guess you could say, to start up the Kodiak, it's at least what I would do in terms of the proper way. I'm not a Kodiak pilot. Don't take it for real advice. I have done a tutorial video for this one and the Flodiak, so the amphibious version. I'll try and put a link somewhere up here if you're interested in it. But otherwise, I'm just going to kind of speed through things, do a little bit of time acceleration, then get us out to the runway. But with our pre-checks done, we're going to go ahead and hit that master switch. Let it beep away at us. Then we'll come down here, hit enter, go to engine, lean. Got 331, that's correct. And systems, 25 volts on our battery, so all that's good. Got our beacon and our nav on because we are ready to fire up. Let's get the fuel pump on. Got good fuel pressure. So we'll go ahead, get the ignition on. We'll shimmy over real quick, pop up our armrest. And since it's first flight of the day, we'll go ahead and drop that into low. And now we're looking on NG right here. We're waiting for that to get to 14. There's 14. So now we're going to bring that up into low idle. We'll go ahead and just slowly bring this propeller all the way up to the wall. And now as that fires up, we're just going to make sure everything stabilizes. ITT stayed in the green. Props coming up. NG's fairly stable in the 55s. Let's close that window. Get our alternator generator on. Starter off, ignition off. Fuel pump can go to standby. Avionics and auxiliary. And let's go ahead and get the cabin heating up as well. Let's see, floor vents. We'll do mine and his. Alright, so we have a fairly simple flight plan today, which I forgot to delete my old flight plan from flying out here. Delete. So let's zoom in so that way you guys can read it if you are interested in doing so. So we're up here at West Yellowstone, which is KWYS. Yellowstone, we're going to depart towards the north, so runway 1. Winds are calm right now. And then we got our first waypoint of tools. Guess we could have went the other way. T-O. And it's O again. L. And that's the one tools, 43 nautical miles away. After tools, we're going to spect, which is S P E C T. There's P. Well, while I type this in, I hope you guys have been doing well. I've been doing pretty good, can't complain too much. So spect 80 miles away in K2, I believe the area is. No, K7, that's the one we want. Here soon, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break from my normal videos, just because I got to take care of some things in my personal life. I'm still going to try and put out some videos. I might even look at doing some shorts. Haven't decided yet, but my normal content's going to go away for a little bit. Then Billings, Montana, 128 nautical miles away. We're expecting runway 10 left for landing. Go ahead and get that in. But yeah, so my kind of normal content's going to be kind of dwindling. I'm going to venture into some new stuff just for time. That way I can take care of what I need to take care of, but hopefully in a month or two, I'll be back to doing normal content. For my avid Kodiak flyers out there, if you don't have it yet, for sure on Android, I think it's on Apple, but there's a wonderful app that I'm pulling up right now, which is called Kodiak Perf. So like Kodiak Performance. You can put in your flights, put in weight and balance, do all kinds of cool things. I get all my speeds for my thing right here, for my reference. Get all my reference speeds from that. So let's see here. 95 knots is going to be, yep. So then VR is 60. Then for VX, I like to use my takeoff speed times 1.3. Well, takeoff configuration speed times 1.3, which in our case is 66. And then for VY, we're looking at 85 knots, and that is the stall speed when we're clean times 1.3. It's going to be 85. So that's set. So speeds are good. For today's flight, we're going to go up to 13,000. We're going to plan on going VFR, so we'll do 13,500 for now. And let's see, come down to PDF options. Let's go nav 1, GPS, back. Let's see, Billings I think should be 14.5. Been a while, but that should be Billings, Montana. Oh, we might have to verify that en route. CDI can go to GPS. And let's see, transponder. We forgot to turn that off. Go figure. VFR. Let's get our AI pilot off for our radios 2. He is off. I don't know why that keeps coming on recently. I don't know why. I can't get it to stop, but it does. So all that's good. We'll bring this up to the timer for when we're ready for it. Otherwise, we can get the taxi lights on. We're going to do a flaps 1 takeoff today. See, oxygen is good. We will definitely need it with our altitude, so West Yellowstone, tool spect, Billings. We got guard up in COM 2 and we're monitoring. Got radios set for as much as we're going to use them. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and take us down to the end of the runway, and I'll talk to you guys on departure. Okay, so here we are at the runway, so we're going to go ahead and flip that aux pump 2 on, strobe lights on, landing lights go pulse, cabin lights can come off. Bypass is We'll see if we can get away without it. Pitot heat on. Don't need any of that. Oxygen can stay off for now. Why is that up at 70? That should... There we go. Oh, it's probably because his floor heat's on. That's probably why. Turn that off for now. Go ahead and bring our condition lever up to high. Flaps 1. Rudder trim is set. Normal trim is set. Then let's make sure that's on altitude and VFR for now. Go ahead, start the timer because we are ready for takeoff and we don't want to exceed takeoff power for more than about 5 minutes. So going through here, we get the flight director on. We'll do an FLC at 115. That was too hard on the brakes. Forgot to set up autopilot. I knew I was forgetting something. Let's get lined up and then we'll finish our autopilot because we won't need a whole lot of time to take off and climb. So we planned on taking off runway 1. We are lined up, confirmed runway 1 via heading and the big number 1 painted on the ground in front of us. So FLC is going to be 115 for our altitude select of 13.5. Then we're going to do a heading select, lock in this heading, and we'll get to GPS once we get configured in our climb. Yaw damper stays off. Heading, yep, all that looks good. For departure, we're going to go straight out. We'll maintain 73 knots-ish until we get approximately 500 feet above the runway. Then we'll go up to 85, bring up flaps. Then, well, actually, we're only doing 1 flap, so we'll go up to 95, bring up flaps, and then we'll go up to 115 and reduce down to climb power once we get flaps removed. And we're looking for 95 and 1,000 feet before we pull up those flaps. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take off the parking brake, hold down the brakes, bring throttle up. Releasing brakes. And we need some right rudder because this airplane loves it. And we're coming through 50. There's our rotation speed. So it's pull back, nice and gentle. And we're off the ground. So now we're going to be looking for one to maintain 73 knots up until we get through 500. So we got to pitch it up a lot more. There's 75 and 500. So I'll bring it down, looking for 95 and 1,000 now. Just saying, if you have not flown this airplane, it can be a workout. Trim is your best friend, but I love this airplane. Never flown a Kodiak, but to me, it feels like it would be very authentic. So there's 95, and we're just about to 1,000. There's 95 and 1,000, so we'll reduce that, and now we're looking for 115 on our speed. We're going to get some elevator trim in, that would be handy. And now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to activate the autopilot because we're pretty close to where we want to be. So autopilot, yaw damper. Now that that's doing its thing, we want to bring the prop back down to 2,000. So we'll do it nice and slow, and we're going to be looking for the bottom of the P on prop. That is what I've learned is about 2,000. So bottom of the P right here. And we'll let that settle. We'll see where it settles at. We might have to knock it down just a hair. And I don't know why that got all messed up. Why is that being weird? Yeah, go to another page. Go back. There we go. That was odd. Alright, so now we get turned towards our flight plan, which there's 2,000. Perfect. Let's turn about 080. I think that should get us on track pretty well. 080, Tyler, not 050. All right, and yeah, so there's our clouds. I think we're going to be under that. If we get closer to them, we'll probably have to turn the bypass on. But now we are at 10,000 feet, so we go ahead and turn the landing lights off, taxi lights off, fuel heat, and everything else will stay on. That'll stay on until we get to cruise. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and climb us, get us up to our cruising altitude, get some cool outside shots, and I'll talk to you guys later on in the flight. Okay, everyone, so here we are. We're cruising along still, just passing over the Beartooth Mountains here. Only a little bit away from Billings, Montana. It looks like about 50 miles. We did get a message from, I guess, our dispatch and from the fake air traffic control that I use. And I guess they want us to help with a search and rescue mission. Apparently, there is an aircraft somewhere between the East Rosebud Lake and the state line, which East Rosebud is coming up right over here somewhere. But I guess there was a bright yellow, Cub looking aircraft that was cruising down the valley here late last night sometime and never checked back in with air traffic control and never checked in with anyone. So they called it in, said, hey, we can't find him for whatever reason. No one else really knows where to look for him, so they asked us if we could take a swing through. So we're going to do exactly that. So let's go ahead. We're going to do like a grid type pattern for our search parameters. We're going to base it off the kind of the general wind direction, just so that way it makes corrections a little easier. Let's see, oh, that's not what I want to do. Let's go bearing 2, go back, and let's see, let's set this to heading hold. So heading hold, CDI, go to VOR. And let's see, right now we're tracking a 40. Oh wait, but I'm going to go off the wind, so 90 degrees from 200 is... that'd be 110. So 110, but we're going to have 20 knots blowing against us. So let's try like a 206, because we should be pretty close to the East Rosebud Lake now. So let's go ahead and try like a 206. Yeah, let's try like a 116 on the heading. So we're looking for a 110 on our angle. Well, not our angle, but our heading. So East Rosebud is right there. So here we got the creek. There's Alpine and East Rosebud Lake. But yeah, so what the report said is when flying through here around sunset and never returned. So we'll do a grid pattern, be a fairly short grid just because of how restricted we are because of the mountains. I don't think a Cub made it all the way up this high. So he's probably fairly low. Just go about valley to valley, it looks like. I want to maintain this seat for right now. So we're tracking a 110. That's good. Now we'll want to turn into it, which that should be set up for our 200, right? Looks like it. So heading will be into the wind. Which if we do a 180, oh, numbers are going to get weird. Yes, we want to go into the wind now, so that'll be about a 206-ish. Well, I guess we want 200. And we'll just track this for a second. We're a bit far away from the valley. I'd like to be closer. So we know he at least made it to Alpine, so we'll go this way a little bit further. Because the reports were that they saw him here in Alpine, continuing down the valley. I don't think they mean that valley, because that's not the report that we had. So do some grid work. We'll probably rotate what side of the airplane we're on a couple times. Alright, so let's go ahead and see, we're about to the lake. Let's go ahead, hook another right. Let's see, wind's going to be blowing us back that way, so we want to kick it out that way. Probably, I think we did 6 degrees last time. Oh my gosh, why is it being so weird today? So a 284 should get us about where we want to be for our track for a 290. Well, I'd be surprised if a Cub made it up on top of here. Let's go back to our pilot seat and see if we can't do some looking out the window. Let's see. Well, we got a nice view of our tire, but we are not looking for our tire. Alright, here we go. Now I can start to see into the valley. That's not the valley we want, though. There's the valley we want. Man, it gets narrow. These are going to be really short passes. I wish we could get lower, but the terrain's not going to allow us to get any lower. Unless we scud run the valley, which that doesn't seem very responsible. We got a passenger on board. Let's see, I'm not really seeing anything down there on this pass. It's a bright yellow airplane. We should be able to see it, right? Nope, not seeing anything there, so we'll go up to about there, then we'll hook it back across. Though honestly, we're so close to the valley, it might be best, instead of doing a grid pattern, just to fly the valley. See, wind's coming from like a 2-1 right now. So let's fly a 211. But now we're too far away from the valley. So let's actually scoot it back in and fly the valley. Kind of like what I was talking about the first time. Because I don't think, just with how narrow this valley is, and we know he was in a Cub type aircraft, I feel like doing a grid's not going to be our best bet just because of the terrain and how narrow this valley is. Okay. So let's just fly the valley, see what we can see. I wish we could get lower. Lower would be nice, but we don't have a lot of good terrain ahead of us. And we're definitely going to have to make another pass on this valley. Looking down there. Break out my fancy supervision. Not seeing anything. Let's follow this some more to the right. About a 2-4, I guess. Let's see. There's a bunch of trees. A bright yellow aircraft should stand out from trees pretty well. This wouldn't be a terrible area to do a grid pattern search. And we could get a little bit lower, actually. I don't know how much lower I want to get. We could maybe do 1,000 foot. So let's go 12.5, vertical speed down 300, and And let's kick our heading out beside us and kind of start scanning this area. I wonder if we would have made it up here to the plains. I don't know, we're pretty high up. I don't know if a Cub-type aircraft could get this high. So let's start our search pattern again. So now we'll do about 90 degrees from where we were, so let's see what a 1-6 looks like for our search pattern, for our grid. Let's see how we're looking on terrain. 'Cause I gotta make sure that we don't end up hitting the terrain. That'd be bad, have the search and rescue aircraft with a paying passenger on board hit the terrain. That is not the publicity Idaho Air Service is looking for. Maybe we'll just do some, I guess, some circular type motions. I'm trying to think what they would call that. Is it like an expanding sweep, or is that the triangle one? Maybe make a triangle and then search. Because this is really all we got to work with, which I really am not thinking it made it this high up. Because we're very high. Up at 12,000 foot. So I could probably slow us up some too. Alright, so looking for a bright yellow airplane. Somewhere in the trees between the state line and East Rosebud came up the valley. I mean, if we're looking for the low path, this is the low path right here, because that's pretty steep. Which means another place maybe he was trying to turn around, hit the edge. So now we'll want to hook it 90 degrees. Our track is 137. So let's go ahead and lock in what we're doing right now. So 90 degrees off of that would be 47. Then we're going to get very close to that terrain. Let's see, are we going to clear that? This isn't yelling at me, so we should clear it, but it's going to be close, isn't it? Let's go ahead, hook a hard 90 degrees. Just because it's going to be close on that, and I'm using autopilot. That'll at least let us look into that little bowl we were just talking about a second ago. See if maybe it went to the bowl. Because the path of least resistance is right here. Let's scoot over. Oh, there's another little bowl right there, but I'm not seeing a whole lot. But see, this is the easiest way, so I feel like if he was flying, he probably would have tried to come up this way. But then that's pretty low, so maybe he went this way, realized it was not a good route to go, and hit in here somewhere. How are we looking on this terrain again? We got some yellow coming up, so we'll want to hook another right here momentarily. Because that's a nice place. You know, maybe trying to land on like a gravel bar or something. Oh, we got some good turbulence. And let's go ahead and let's start hooking it out of this way. So looking down here in the bowl, not seeing a whole lot. Oh, that is close. Well, 12.5 is a good altitude. It's close though. Ooh, man. Hope our passenger brought a change of clothes. Yeah, let's see. We want to, I don't know, gonna blow right through our course. Alright, so we kind of scan that way. Using my supervision, I'm not seeing anything. Let's see, let's scoot back over to this side. Maybe we'll gather something good. Because this still just seems like the path of least resistance is that way. Gotta watch our speed, we're in the 120s, which is good. Looking for bright yellow airplane. Maybe one of you guys down in the comments will see it before me. If you see it, mark it in the comments. We can see who found it first. Let's see, terrain, good. And let's see, let's hook it hard back of 180 degrees. Get a nice view inside the bowl here. They must have picked us to do this because we have quite the high performance aircraft. And you know, a helicopter would have probably been better actually, but we don't get to make those level of decisions. We just do what they tell us to do, right? So looking down here, not seeing a whole lot. I mean, because this is another good spot. Maybe try to come up here. It looks nice. I don't really see any great landing places that would have been of interest. Just trying to look everywhere all at once. That looks abnormal right there. That looks abnormal. See that? That's like a red color. Okay, so let's go check that out. I think we might have found a clue. How are we looking on gas? That's another thing I gotta watch. How's our fuel? Oh, we got 400 pounds. That's plenty. Let's see, where did that go? Was it in this area? Or was it down here? Supervision to the rescue, right? Yeah, there's something right there. See that? There's something right there. Okay. Let's see. We'll come up to this ridge line, hook it, probably back towards there again. Might just have to take it off of autopilot. Yeah, I guess we'll just hand fly this just because that'd be easier. A little bit more dangerous, but we'll just have to try and watch our instruments and look for whatever we just saw.
West Tree 9er heavy contact, Salt Lake Center on 133.5.
Okay, so I think it was kind of on that guy, but on the back side. Back/top side.
133.25, first west tree, 9er heavy.
Okay, so trying to think of the best way to do this, because I need to see on my side, but I also got to make sure we don't hit anything. So I guess that standby attitude indicator will be our best friend right now. Let's see, we'll have to try and do a turnaround, a point up here at, excuse me, up at 12,000 feet and like 130 knots. Okay, so zoom in with our supervision. And let's make sure we're not descending too much. So I thought I saw something over here somewhere. Looking. If any of you know how to get rid of that little white dot that just randomly pops up, please put that down in the comments. I would love to know, because I don't know how to get rid of it. I don't even know what turned it on. I came once I got my new computer. I'm not seeing anything now. Maybe we're at the wrong spot. I could have swore I saw something though. Oh. Right there again. We're looking at the wrong one. Right there looks like something. Okay. So that right there looks like something. So it's right there. I think I turned right where I needed to be looking. I think that was the problem. I wasn't looking at the ground. Well, I was looking at the ground, but the ground I didn't want to hit, not the ground where I thought I saw something. Yeah, so right there about where that white dot that keeps popping up is. It looks like something to me. I don't know what you guys think. And we're descending. Yeah, right there. That definitely looks like something. And watch out. There we go. I think right there is where I want to be looking. Oh, hey, look. There we go. Well, that looks like a yellow airplane, doesn't it? That definitely is a plane right there. And it just disappeared. That's peculiar. So yeah, it looks like we did find our guy. There's like a tent or something. An airplane disappeared on me. Alright, so we're gonna make another pass, just confirm our observations. But I think we found it. Because that's definitely bright red. So let's reduce power some more. Let's give ourselves one notch of flaps. And then we'll have to radio in and see what they want us to do. Because that definitely looks bright yellow to me. I don't know what you guys at home think, but... Oh, I lost it. Right there. That looks like a bright yellow airplane. And it's in the trees, so that's not a good sign, but... The fact there's a tint is a good sign, right? So that means probably got out at least enough to get into a tent. Yeah, so that looks like our aircraft. So I guess we'll start making some radio calls and see what they want to do. I'm going to keep circling, and I'll get back a hold of you guys once we kind of figure out what's going on. Alright everyone, so we have descended a little bit just to get a better look, and we have confirmed that that is the aircraft we are looking for. We did some communicating with Salt Lake Center, and they got a hold of some other people, and looks like they want us to see if we can land back at Alpine to pick them up, just because of the location and area for life flights. It's going to be pretty limited, and we have the space. And as long as we're good to land in Alpine, it'll be a lot faster if we can land down there, wait for crews to come, rescue him, and then we fly him back into Billings. So that's kind of the game plan right now. We're doing one last circle of the area, just getting down, kind of doing overwatch while we wait for rescue crews to come up here. And soon we'll be heading over to Alpine to sort out a landing facility, but for now we're going to be circling the area just to give overwatch for the search and rescue crews when they make it out. So stay tuned, I'll get a hold of you guys when we're looking to land at Alpine. But now that we're a lot lower, before I cut out and keep circling, if you didn't see it before, you should be able to see it now. Looks like we got a tent with some red smoke and a airplane right down there. And that's a terrible place to land, so. But at least he's able to get like some smoke and a tent out, so he must be doing okay. I guess as okay as you can be when you crash your airplane into the side of a mountain. Okay, so we're still kind of doing our orbits over the area. We've been orbiting for a while. We've communicated with the search and rescue teams to try and figure out what they want to do in this situation, or what they want us to do. We told them we only have about an hour worth of fuel left, so we can't just keep providing overwatch until they get here. They are coming up the valley. They've made it to Alpine by car, so now they just got to work on coming back up here. I guess they got some horses or something. But the only problem is trying to get EMS out here. I guess from the floods they had about a year ago, it's pretty hard to get a vehicle back here, if not impossible. So, especially trying to get an ambulance, I guess they're having a tough time trying to figure that one out. So, since we've been orbiting, we confirmed that there is indeed an aircraft down here. It's right there by our strut. You can see it in the trees with the tent. They did want us to see about maybe trying to land in Alpine, and then they can bring the patient to us and we can get him to medical help in Billings, since that's where we're going anyway. And why we've been orbiting since we had that conversation, we were able to speak with our passenger, and our passenger agreed that that might be the best decision. They're willing to take that chance and hopefully save this guy. So now that we just did that orbit, we'll do one more orbit just to let pretty much this guy know, hey, we know you're here. Granted, he probably figured it out because we've been orbiting for a long time. And then we'll head down the valley over to Alpine, kind of see what they have for landing opportunities, and we'll give it a whirl. From flying over, looked like it should be a fairly okay spot to land. I remember there being a fairly straight stretch of dirt road. There's our airplaning guy right at the bottom of the window. So now we'll go ahead, head down the valley. We do have flaps 1 currently in, so we'll make sure we stay within our flap speed of 138 as we come back down the valley, start our descent. We did already bring our prop up and go to the bypass just because we were flying up here and there's been on and off clouds. So just to keep everything going well. And yeah, we got about 328 pounds of fuel on board, so we're definitely going to need to land. If not, here in Alpine, we're going to have to go to Billings. We'll probably only have one real I say one real shot, but probably we're picking up some speed here. We'll probably be able to do one go around if it doesn't look good, but I think we only have one or two good chances to land before we need to give it up and take it into Billings. So we'll see how this works out. Hopefully we can land here in Alpine. If we can't, I guess we tried. So let's go ahead and bring it in, see what we can't do. This aircraft is STOL capable, which makes it a pretty good candidate. Then we got that big turbo prop up front, which helps us with high altitude performance. It also helps for light. If we were configured like we were going into West Yellowstone, we would never be able to even dream of making this. So there's East Rosebud Lake. If we were in our Kodiak, man, we could just probably sit her down right on the lake. But I am not confident in my seaplane abilities, so I definitely could not do that. We're looking at the town of Alpine. Let's see, we got a road on the close to the lake with houses on both sides. We got a road to the north of the houses. A little bit of trees, and we got that big old field. That field might be decent. I wonder how that field's looking. It looks like there's going to be some good elevation changes, so the field's probably not a good bet.
500. 500.
Oh yeah, there's some rocks in that field too. Look at that. There's some big rocks. I can see those from here, and we're like 1,000 feet up. So it looks like that road, right, that road's probably going to be our best bet. That comes off the bridge and stays going straight, because there are some huge rocks and shrubs down there in the field. Looks like if we follow the creek, we can do essentially a dog leg into land. So let's go ahead, get ourselves set up for that. There's 108. We'll go ahead and give ourselves notch 2 for flaps. Then just verifying everything. Prop and fuel condition are to the wall. We're controlling the throttle. We still got one more notch of flaps to put in, and our seat is locked.
Going to 133, decimal 25 speed bird, 278 heavy.
So coming into land here, we're going to want to probably keep it nice and slow. Essentially almost stall it going onto the runway. So we're probably going to be wanting to do an approach of about 60 knots with our full flaps. Because it is short, so we're not going to want to dilly-dally around. I mean, we do have that curve that allows us to cut through the trees, but we'll want to take it. We essentially want every advantage we got, and we can fly this thing nice and slow. So why not plan on flying this thing nice and slow? Let's give ourselves some more right rudder. And let's get that final notch of flaps in. And so what we're going to do is follow the creek. Right there at that kind of cliff right in front of us, we'll hook a left and essentially do, I think that would technically count as a dog leg. The dog leg into land on the road. Try and maintain about 60. Just trying to get some trim. Looks like we got about a 8 to 10 knot headwind right now, so we're going to have a crosswind off our right wing for landing. That'll make this more interesting. It can never just be a calm, beautiful day now, can it? But I guess we are landing in the middle of a valley between two very large mountains, so. And we're landing on a dirt road. So we're going to want to watch out for that tree, George of the Jungle style. And let's see what we can do here. We're right at 60, full flaps. Start backing off the power. Should be able to clear that tree. And up, 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 up. Oh, that's good. It's bumpy though. Very bumpy. Whew, that was a little nerve-wracking. That was very bumpy, but I'm glad we made it the first try, so go ahead and find a place to park so then we can wait for search and rescue to arrive with our patient. And then we're going to be at medevac. It's good to know that it's bumpy. We'll definitely want to remember that for takeoff. We'll most likely use flaps 2 for takeoff on this one. See, I think parking out here would probably be our best. Let's see, I'm not seeing any rocks, but oh man. Look at all these. You can see the gopher holes in the ground from here. Yeah, good thing we did not land in the field. That probably would not have ended well for us. Good thing the Kodiak is perfectly capable of doing a helicopter's job, right? So we'll park it right here. Let's go ahead, get her shut down until search and rescue can arrive with our patient. So let's bring that back to low idle with our prop. Then we're going to want 1 minute on this bad boy. Stop, reset, start. Get our strobes off, landing lights off, cabin lights can go off. Kill the instrument lights because we don't need them anymore. Taxi lights off, nav lights off. Pitot heat off, bypass stays on. Alternator, generator, aux, and avionics. Fuel pump can go off as well. Man, but we'll be able to get at least a cool picture of the airplane while we sit here and wait for search and rescue. Okay, so we have the patient loaded up. We got our other passenger back. Just due to the limitations of the Kodiak, we don't actually have like a litter we can put in here. So our passenger is simulated, or not our passenger, our patient is simulated as if he's laying down on a stretcher in the back of the airplane by throwing those boxes back there. So let's go ahead, get the door closed because we got everyone on board now. Lock that up. Close the window. And let's go ahead, go through preliminary checks. So lock my seat, on, no one up front, so lock that. Fuel cutoffs in, idle, back, off, flap set. Good, let's push the trim wheel forward where I like it. Alright, and master switch on. Once again, if you want to know how to start this or fly this the Tyler way, check up here for a little link to one of my tutorial videos. Go ahead, enter. ITT's nice at 17, so we don't got to worry too much about that. Go to the system, 2525. We should be good to fire the aircraft up, which is make sure our parking brake is on. It is, bypass is on, so let's flip the nav lights on, beacons on. Go ahead, get fuel going into the engine. Let's make sure we got fuel pressure of 6, that's good. Shimmy over to the center, ignition on, and we'll do a low motor start. So looking for 14 on our NG right here. There's 14, so we'll go ahead and bring this up to a low idle. Bring our prop up as well. Hop back into our seat. Let's make sure everything stays in the green. ITT stable, stayed in green the whole time, topped at about 610. NG's coming up in the 55s and stable as well. So generator, alternator on, starter off, ignition off. Aux pump will leave on because we're going to hit the road in just a second. Pitot heat, avionics, auxiliary bus. Now on our flight plan, yeah, we'll leave that as is. The weather in Billings has probably changed, so we'll figure that out as we go. Let's go ahead, hit start, because we'll give it about a minute to warm up, and then we're going to hit the road. So oxygen. And I think our airplane looks like our HVAC is broken. We're not getting a cabin temperature reading for the front of the aircraft. Well, that's interesting. Well, it looks like we're going to be stopping at the FBO in Billings too while we're there, because having an HVAC problem apparently. Probably something to do with how bumpy that landing was. So once we let this just idle for a minute, we'll go ahead, bring it up to high idle, give it 1 more minute, and then while we high idle, we'll taxi down to the makeshift runway for takeoff. There's 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, and 1 minute. So let's go high idle. Bring it up. We're not even going to worry about those speeds right now, because we're even lighter than we were before, so those speeds should definitely work for us, and we're pretty much just going to try and lift off as soon as possible. So we got flaps 2 for takeoff. We're going to pretty much fly around the trees and terrain, going back towards the north, towards Billings, and towards our flight plan we originally planned on flying. Initial departure until we get up to clearing the trees is pretty much 60, 65. We're going to maintain 66 is what it'll be. That's our VX. We're going to maintain 66 pretty much until we get clear enough. Then we'll do a step up. So then we'll go up to 85, 500, bring up to flaps 1, 95, 1000. Bring flaps all the way up to 0. And we'll go up for a 115. And we can actually change our altitude. We don't need to be at 12,000 leaving here, so let's get that done real quick. We'll do 10.5 flight control, and 200. Not right. That to a 115. Alright, so originally we were going to do flaps 2 for takeoff, but we're actually going to do flaps 3 just to be safe. So we got our trim set. Let's go ahead and set our takeoff thrust. That's too high. Back it off just a little. Reset our timer. And here's to a good takeoff. And just remember, it's going to be bumpy, because this is apparently a very poor county road. So, clear Georgia the jungle tree. We should have cleared that one. And the game did not say that we crashed, so we're going to go if we cleared it. And now that we are kind of on track, let's go ahead and focus on getting the aircraft cleared up. Cleaned up, not cleared up. So there's roughly 75. So I'll bring up flaps 3, going to flaps 2. There's roughly 85. Let's pitch up some more. Actually get our autopilot on to give us a hand here. 85, 500, so clean that up. Now we can go to 95. And yaw dampers on. There's 1,000 feet, and we're working on 95, so we'll go ahead, bring that up, and go up to 115. And man, I don't know if I'd do that one again. Landing there in Alpine, even though it's a county road, it is not in good shape. They need to do something about that. Go ahead, slowly bring our prop back to 2,000. Bottom of the P. I don't remember when I learned this, but if you bring it back to right about the bottom of the P on prop, it'll bring you to just about 2,000 on your RPM. You'll just have to do some minor adjustments to get it there. But man, that landing and takeoff is hard because there are so many bumps in the road. And you're just skipping down the entire thing. That's actually very difficult, not gonna lie. I don't know if I'd do it again. It's very hard. At least for me. I'm sure there's someone out there who's like, oh, I do that all the time, yada, yada, yada. But when I do that all the time, it's on like what's considered a dedicated airport in the flight simulator, not just some random road I found, you know, in the middle of a valley. I figured the road would be in better shape than it was. I will say. Part of that's my fault. I thought the road would be in better shape. Well, now you guys have pretty much seen this before. Now we're just climbed up to 10,500. We're still 47 miles out from Billings, Montana. I'm going to go ahead and fly our passenger and patient over to Billings, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Okay, so here we are coming in for our approach into Billings. That's the Zoo Drive exit on I-90, so we're just coming into the west end. The winds did change from when we left West Yellowstone. Shocker there, considering we left in the morning and it's now almost nighttime. So we're going to be landing on runway 28 right, so we're going to do what I refer to as the river visual, which just follow this, loop around, and come into land. We do have Delta coming in on the ILS right now. I haven't been able to see him yet, but he's an A320 pretty much right in front of us. He should be popping up any second. So we've just kind of been slowing up, taking our time getting in. I mean, we do have a patient. We do have a patient, so we're not going super slow, but at the same time, we're not hauling. Just because I don't want to... I did not think we would be able to beat Delta, which there they are right there. I didn't think there's any reason to need to hold up Delta, because I didn't think we could beat them. Because our approach speed's also about 60 knots, so... So we're pretty much going to follow the Delta A320N. Want to be careful for wake turbulence, obviously. But we should be able to conquer that pretty well. So now that we're coming up on where we want to turn to enter our river visual, go ahead and start slowing up, looking for 120 before we give our first notch of flaps. Let's see if we can get eyes on Delta again. Somewhere in our A pillar, I think. There they are. There's Delta coming over the river right now. We're just about to 120, so flaps 1. Then we'll go ahead and bring our prop all the way up now. Now we'll take yaw damper and autopilot and flight director off. Still got eyes on Delta. We're coming through 108, so flaps 2. We're just going to watch out for the antennas that are up here at the antenna farm. I'll say this river visual is much more fast-paced when you're in a jet that's just hauling. It's not as fast-paced when you're going 80 knots. Delta looks high. They're like over the airport. Look at them. How far down are they going to land? They're like midfield already. Wow. Yeah, they're like touching down like halfway down the runway. Seems a bit excessive. We're at 73, so final notch of flaps going in, and we're looking to maintain right about 70 to 68 for final. And we'll try not to lose too much more altitude. I don't know why Delta took up so much runway.
Delta 2522, turn next taxiway.
And we are shooting this one wide. That's okay, Delta needs to get off the runway anyway.
Delta 2522, contact ground on 121.9er.
Alright, so Delta should be off the... Yep, I see Delta. They are off the runway. So we're going to go ahead, clear ourselves to land.
Going to 121.9er, Delta 2522.
So we got final notch of flaps in. Everything else is looking good. I just need to get ourselves lined up. Lined up and slowed down. Then we should be able to make it off at taxiway Charlie and then just hook it straight into Edwards Jet Center, where there should be an ambulance waiting for us to offload our patient. Here is our taxiway. Well, actually, taxiway Delta. We beat Charlie, so that'll work. Because right where that giant mess of King Airs is actually where we want to go. But that is an absolute mess of King Airs. I have no clue what's going on there. So let's find an alternate parking spot real quick. Strobes off. Speedo heat off. Bring that down. Humna humna. Okay, we'll go up to... we could go up to Rocky, I guess. Because normally we'd just pull in right here, but there's a ton of King Airs in our way. And also, it looks like Delta's trying to come down this way, too. Let's see. Yeah, we'll take a spot over here at this next hangar that we're coming up on. Well, let's get out the way of Delta, because I don't know what Delta's up to. Terminal's over there where Alaska is. Alright, so we'll just go ahead and park up here at Rocky. Not where I wanted to go, but there's just an army of King Airs at Edwards. So we'll actually just take a real parking spot here at Rocky, why not? And we'll call it right there. Set the parking brake. Let's go ahead and bring the prop back. And now we're looking for 1 minute. Start it. Menu. We can delete our flight plan. We'll have to have maintenance take a look at that because we're having a problem with our HVAC. Fuel pump can go off, aux box and avionics off as well. Taxi light off, cabin lights off. Let's get the instrument lights killed as well. Don't need those anymore. Nav lights can go off. Got 30 seconds to go, and there's Delta. It's actually the old Alaska gate. I don't know why Delta went there. Window goes open. 45 seconds to go. Well, 15 seconds to go. And there is a minute, so we'll kill the engine. And kill the battery master. Get that window back open. Pop open the doors. Now we're going to go ahead and unload everyone, and I'll talk to you guys in a minute. Alright everyone, so we got our patient, passenger, and cargo all unloaded, and we're here at apparently Rocky Mountain College over in Billings, Montana, since I don't know what is going on with that army of King Airs over at Edwards Jet Center. But is what it is. We were still able to successfully complete our flight. I hope you guys enjoyed kind of the change of pace in the video where we did a search and rescue mission instead of just like point A to point B. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Once again, for those of you new to the channel and for my old viewers, here over the next like month or two, my videos are going to be a little abnormal just because I won't have as much time available due to some personal things happening in life. So I'm still going to try and be putting out some content. I'm going to try and do it once a week, but just know if I do miss a couple weeks or if the videos are a little weird, it's not going to be like that forever. I will be back probably in about 2 to 3 months. We'll be back with kind of more regularly scheduled stuff. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoy whatever I put out. I appreciate each and every one of you, and as always, stay classy and stay awesome. If you guys could like, subscribe, comment, it actually really helps the channel. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video.